Riders, I think they'll be able to close this out 2-1, but I'm hoping RBG can give us a bit of a show here on this final map and really give us something to talk about for the rest of this conference. Excuse me. Had a bit of a creep there in the chest, but Wiz will be wielding a kit, a flash, HE as well for him. I'm tongue-tied all over my words, George. We're into the pistol round, and it is RBG on the CT side, and they're looking for early frags. They're looking for shots. They've actually got the two-man down here. Shot did get taken down in return, though, and now bomb planted. Movistar Riders hope to defend him. Hexed will deliver justice from heaven. And that leaves just RBG and Mopoz hoping to find the perfect fight. Mopoz does get a long-range duel towards Welko, but now left alone, 1 versus 3. There's not really much you can do in this situation as Hex will finish him off. And it is going to be RBG picking up the pistol, just like they did on Vertigo, George.
Yeah, that didn't go so hot on Vertigo, though, did it? Not to bring back any bad memories too quickly, but Movistar Riders went in for an aggressive buy right away. Brought themselves in with the Galils, the AK-47s, and whatever it is they could muster, and absolutely wiped the floor with RBG, wasting no time before getting themselves started, and that same aggression is what we're going to see again here from the Spaniards. It's going to be 4 Galils, 1 Tech 9, and just because the Tech 9's there, as we all know, it's the most overpowered weapon in the game. So, Alex going to be taking point outside for the moment. There is going to be some hefty resistance over here, but there is a wall of smokes down, which means that he's going to be able to comfortably get himself across for the time being. Now, I don't know whether he's been heard. I don't know whether he's been detected in any kind of way, but this is still a really nice position for him to get into, especially when his teammates have just taken complete control over the ramp room. That means B site is now pretty much there. There's only one player to try and contend with, and that player is Jitter. Pretty sure they're going to at least be somewhat aware of the fact that he's here. If they weren't before, they certainly are now. Alex has taken shot, but the trades are still coming in thick and fast. It has resulted in a Movistar Riders advantage, a 3 versus 2, but Welko and Hexed are on the case. They're on the prowl, and they're hungry for blood. They are looking for these frags round the corner. I'm pretty sure Welko has an idea as to where that player has just absconded off to, and Hexed now trying to make some noise as if he's going back up towards the A site, unsure as to what he's planning here, but maybe it's so big a brain that I can't even understand it. Welko definitely now knows the bomb's planted at B, going to swing open through the double doors, try and find a frag, doesn't quite catch the timing, but has a Molotov in hand to try and flush this player out from the boxes. Still desperately trying to find an angle as well onto this player who's hiding by the ramp. He's called in his teammate for help, but that ramp player has now finally pounced, and Hext is just going to have to do a quick switcheroo and run back up to that A site where he was first starting off. Davi is going to turn his back on Hext, and they pass each other like 2 ships in the night, Dan. RBG have the exact rinse and repeat performance from what happened on Vertigo.
Yeah, feeling a little bit of deja vu, but that's fine. The doctors told me that would happen. As RBG, yeah, they do fall in the second round. They do keep Hexed alive, though, so there's at least an M4 being carried into this next round. But when you look at the economy now for this RBG side, it is dire. And you sort of have to go for the force buy here. You don't really have many options when for most players, you've just got the $1,400 of loss bonus coming through. And actually, I've said this before, another broadcast, George, but when you win that pistol round and then lose the follow-up, you're put in a much worse position going forwards. Because when Movistar, if you're not able to force back in that second or third round, rather, and the T side are able to pick up like the sort of 3-1 scoreline, every round for RBG here, they've got $500 less than they would do if they'd lost the pistol round. So obviously, when you lose the pistol, you get $1,900 as the first stage. But if you win the pistol, your loss bonus goes back down to $1,400. So then if you lose a follow-up, then you're only getting the $1,400 rather than $1,900, and that continues for the next couple of rounds. So you're left with per player just losing a lot of money. But at least for Hext in this round, he's found a little bit of damage. Taken down Alex, has lost a couple teammates though. But obviously just with the pistols, not really expecting all too much from this.
No, they are not. They can't be expecting too much from this. I think the best case scenario here is actually if Hext stays alive and just saves out the round. I think anything that compromises your life might be a bit dangerous. I mean, they force bought around it, so Hext would have to survive not just this round, but also the next 2. which is, of course, going to be a problem, considering as that's quite some way away, and there are a number of angry Ts looking to try and take you down at every twist and turn, so nowhere is safe. Buzz is about to try and clear out the A site, whilst the bomb is being deposited down on the B site. Movistar Riders taking their time. I like that from them. Just making sure they've got everything under control. Lo and behold, there, it looks as if they do. Chop, Jitter, and Hexed all just going to save so they can have at least some weapon potency in the next round. Mopoz gets caught completely unawares. Hex just spamming him down, has the assistance of his teammate there too, and now that's going to donate them a couple of rifles over as well. That's a pretty decent reward, isn't it?
From a round like this, yeah, definitely. You come away with 3 rifles. Only one of them you actually came into the round with. That is a huge amount of takeaway from the RBG side. Obviously, Movistar not really wanting to chase any more than that. They want to start building up a bit of economy themselves, so they just keep those 3 plays alive. Hope that'll be enough to start building an economy. It isn't really. I mean, Davy G has $5,000, Deaths has 3,000, but yeah, the rest of the team not really in a good position if they do need to fully invest in that next round. So, for RBG, there's still opportunities here, and this is actually a very dangerous round. You get the scout out for Wiz. Welco with the Deagle. It's a full investment from this RBG side. They're going, or they can smell blood in the water, and rightly so, because it is there. Wiz, we'll see if he's able to find anything towards the yard with this scout, but as you can see, Movistar Riders just having a little bit of probing towards the A site for a moment. Not really got any presence towards the yard, I don't think, at all. Maybe one player towards the roof, but I think that's it. Now they start pushing in. Utility starts raining down. Davy G is caught first, but Mopoz is quick on the train, and they're going to start pushing in. Are they going to be able to clear out the player close? Squeaky, Mopoz will do exactly that, and Welco is left looking a little bit out of position out towards main. He's lost his teammates and hoped that maybe he could find a duel towards the yard that was favourable. He does find the duel, but it's certainly not favourable. And Movistar Riders are going to punish the full investment from RBG. And this puts them in a really awkward position now, George. Because you save this AK, you save the scout, you're going to have to take the eco here, surely. 4 players surviving for the Movistar Riders. You can't really keep fully invested and hope to land a round, because at this point the Movistar Riders are starting to build up that economy and we'll have the rebuys coming through.
It will indeed have those fat, dirty rebuys. Oh, Dan, I'm hoping, I'm praying. Are you? Dan, are you Bon Jovi?
No, I'm not very religious.
Dan, are you Bon Jovi? Because you look like you're living on a prayer, mate.
I'm not sure if that's a good or bad thing.
You know what? I don't know, but we're only halfway there, so why don't we find out? Either way, Movistar Riders now 3-1. All the balls are in their court, and they just get to swap them back down the other end at the moment because there is only one real weapon of potency in play in the AK-47 from the RBG side on Jitter. Everybody else is going to be taking a back seat. That's by way of both finances and firepower, so nobody has the armor or utility to really contend with Movistar Riders in this round, but, and I'll put a big asterisk over the top of this round, stranger things have happened before. Teams have found themselves on a pretty brutal receiving end of rounds such as these, and Hexed is going to give us a good example as to why, a shocking indictment as to why the P250 is just so good up close for how much it's worth. And now Mopoz gets a chance to also show us just why he thinks the AK is worth every single dollar. Deaths might have a chance here to take the AK back away from them, or at least one of those AKs. Tempting fate a little bit. Chop is just so close to peeking into this angle. Not going to. I think that's a wise decision. Just trying to keep the AK alive right now and keep the hut play alive whilst Movistar Riders decide what it is that they want to do. I mean, they look like they're stalling out a little bit here, Dan. A little bit stagnated. Unsure as to how they wish to approach this round. Now Chop readies himself. Got to try and find the headshots before they find him. Walco manages to get Mopos, but unfortunately Chop is not able to do anything. Jitter now trying to chime in. It's a 2 versus 2. Wiz still yet to be located inside of this round as well. He's on a big old flank. He's about to try and come through lobby. Been spotted, damage inflicted, but even more damage in return. On to death. Sun Pius has now taken the fight with Jitter. Wiz is looking to try and make a 2 versus 1 clutch with the scout, but unfortunately just catches the wrong timing. Good effort, though, from RBG. They're still trying, goddammit, and they will get there eventually.
I'm actually a little bit impressed with how well RBG are able to put up damage in these rounds. They're keeping things close, and you can see for the Movistar Riders, yeah, there's a few players now who are starting to put up a bit of cash. You got some players around that $6,000 mark, Defs at about 7.5. But then you've got like the rest of the players around $3,000 less. So there's not massive amounts of cash building up for the Riders just yet. And if RBG are able to pick up a round or two, they'll very quickly be tearing through it. But this is aggressive from Alex. Just straight in there, straight to take down Chop. And that's an early advantage for the Riders. And I'm not sure if they're really aware that Alex has crept so far forward. And no, they are. He's on an absolute tear. And finally, Jitter will put an end to him. But it's now just Jitter and Hex. 2 versus 4. As Defs and Co going to be making their way down through the secret stairs. Bomb in tow as well, and they'll head towards that B site. Nobody in position from RBG to really do anything with this round right now. Maybe if Jitter had gotten down towards the ramp a little bit earlier, but doesn't look like it. Are they actually going up towards the A site? Or are they just saving? I think
they're just saving.
Does look to be the case. Jitter grabs himself the AWP from Heaven. That makes sense of to why he was mooching about in Heaven for a moment. But it is going to be a 5th on the board for the Riders, and this T side already off to a strong start. I think if you pick up maybe even just one more round from this half, if you're the Riders, you'll be feeling pretty good in terms of going into that second half.
Uh-oh.
X has so much. No! Not enough ammo in the AK for the spray down. He does manage the first. And Jitter will stay alive. So I guess mission accomplished in keeping the AWP alive, but that was unfortunate. Oh, a laugh. But it's only so I don't cry.
Yeah, to be fair, Dan, that is a big mood right there. As the kids say, mood. But yeah, I think the AWP staying alive is good. Of course, obviously, the AK going down is not. But, you know, the AK had to do something there to give the AWP a chance at life, and it sacrificed itself in a rather heroic fashion. Either way, Jitter, a lot of weight on his shoulders with the AWP, not the weapon that he's necessarily known for using, but he's going to land first time of asking. Davi now has a lot to do inside the site, and he and Alex are actually just going to clean on up. It doesn't matter about the AWP's early impact onto Mopos, because now it has all been completely and utterly offset. Chop and Wiz doing what they can to try and chop and whiz up this round, but unfortunately it's not going to be... Well, I don't even see a way in which they can get into the site, let alone influence what's happening inside of it. I think Wiz is speculatively looking for exit frags or weapons that he could potentially stow himself away with, which is no longer going to be an option, as Chop is doing the same, but in Heaven. I don't think there's going to be any sort of Hail Mary defuse. I don't think the T's are going to leave the site. So Chop's just doing what he can to try and take anything out of their hands and keep it for himself. And I don't think there's going to be anything on the cards for him here, sadly.
I'll be honest, the Chop Whiz sounds like a like one of those products you can buy on like late night shopping channels.
Like a ShamWow.
Yeah.
Oh! Chop gets the AWP. Nice.
That's a big takeaway actually into this round. That's a massive amount of cash that they don't have to spend. Yeah, I mean, I can imagine just Chop Whiz being a kitchen utensil, you know. Like that, what was it called? Like the fruit samurai or something?
Well, the thing where you just like bash it and it cuts fruit.
Yeah, and it cuts fruit into a lot of pieces. I imagine that's sort of what the Chop Whiz would be like.
Yeah, can we get that guy with the overly annoying voice to kind of with the headset as well to do that advert that lasts like 3.5 minutes? No, not Billy Mays. He's gone. I'm afraid the guy who did the ShamWow advert.
Ah,
you know who I mean.
Well,
I know.
I'm
Hi,
sure I
guys! Billy May here! No, not him, sadly.
do. Yeah. Unlucky.
He's unfortunately no longer with us. Which is quite sad, really.
It
Oh,
is.
well.
But life goes on, and this round is going to go on as well. 6-1. Movistar Riders still with the advantage. And again, it was RBG picking up the pistol and unable to convert. And it's been a big succession of rounds since then. But Chop, after being able to save that AWP in the previous round, has already found the opening kill. Just spammed his way through the squeaky door there. Got the opening kill. Mopos falls. Hasn't been having the best of games, Mopos, but he's still 6-5. So he's still putting up good numbers. But then you see some Pius is 8-1. He's just having the time of his life right now on Nuke. But look how far Alex has gotten. Surely he has the kill onto Welko, and he does. Takes a little bit of damage, but he'll be happy that he's able to even things up into the 4-on-4, and he's still got position as well towards the garage. You can see Jitter on the map starting to reposition to cover up any sort of aggression that Alex might want to pose in towards the A site. And this is what RBG are going to do: retaliation. Find space towards the squeaky and towards lobby. And unfortunately for them, they get the intel, but it's right as the Movistar Riders are going to start planting down towards the B site. And now it's going to be the 4-on-4 retake. Some Pius is over by Dark. He'll try and do what he can from this position. Has Daddy for a bit of cover from control as well. And you've got the other two just locking off towards the vent and towards Secret. That's a very nice molly that forces some Pius out. And now inside the smoke, he just hopes to try and stay alive as he's lost his support from Davi. And as Alex tries to reclaim control, he's going to lose his life. Davi trades out. Now 3-on-3. Not yet tapped, but it is going to get tapped. And when it does, Davi's just going to mow them all down. And it's the 7th for the Movistar Riders. RBG looked pretty decent pushing in towards that retake. They got the kill towards control, but they just couldn't find much else apart from that. And unfortunately, the hole in the door was Davi's perfect sightline.
Yes. Sometimes, Dan, that's just how it be. The luck isn't really on RBG's side at the moment right now. They just need a little bit of good news to go their way, and then potentially they could be in for something. But for the time being, not quite working out for them. Mopos is doing everything he can to try and make sure that's not going to be a possibility in this round as well by going instantaneously aggressive towards the squeaky door. But not going to go through it. Not even going to show presence at it. Just holding for the time being. Oh, immediately gooshed. Wildco doesn't even stand a chance in that gunfight. Davi now going to have the opportunity to elevate. Try and go over the top. Flashbang outside. That's going to be an opportunity if Davi is savvy enough to take it. And he absolutely will be. But he's going to see if he can find a little bit more. He's called that out to his teammates. And look, he's just got everything. He's got the keys to the kingdom. 1, 2, and then the third should be taken outside. Surely, there it is. Alex, that is just perfect from Davi. The little goosh that ends up falling Walco off the angle initially basically undoes the entire round. How crazy is it that in Counter-Strike, something as small as that, a headshot hitting through a wall, can basically win the entire round without even taking the player down? Just buys the space for Davi to get over the top. He then waits, tells his teammate to hide, and then pounce at the right moment. And it all works in unison. That's just really nice play from Movistar Riders. Trigger discipline of an absolute god.
Not just in that round, but in this game in general. And you can tell that Movistar Riders just on a sort of deeper level understand this map compared to the RBG side. I think that obviously, obviously RBG know how to play this map, otherwise they wouldn't have allowed it through. But I think just when you look at sort of how a team rotates on that CT side and how the T side is sort of able to anticipate and sort of read off the back of that and force the CT side into certain rotations that they sort of want to try and exploit. That's what makes a good Nuke team and a great Nuke team. That's the difference between it. Just understanding the rotations on this map. Because when you consider it like this, everybody starts on the A side, basically. The only way to get towards the B side is largely by finding a path through the CT defense. If that makes any sort of sense at all.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. Kind of. Yeah.
Don't know whether you've done a good job at explaining it to someone with half a brain, i.e. me.
No. Okay.
But maybe the 300 IQ viewers in the Twitch chat will get it. Myself, on the other hand, no.
Okay.
I am stupid. Either way, Hext is not stupid. He's managed to find himself a very nice frag and a very nice weapon. But again, Alex is going to do his best Davy impression this time around and try and get outside. Meanwhile, Wiz is also doing his best Davy impression by trying to get behind everybody else, including Davy. So this is a bit of a round where the CTs and the Ts have switched sides on the map, rather ironically. Just Jitter, really, technically, it's speaking, in behind enemy lines, whether he knows it or not. He's the sleeper agent right here, needing to be activated with this recovered AK-47. There's about to be an engagement that's about to take place, and Jitter is the one to win it. Alex does trade out, though. That's two nice frags from Alex, as a matter of fact, but it's still a man disadvantage for the Movistar side. There we go, a good frag back, but Holco denies him one further. Now Sun Pius left 1 versus 2. He's already won 1 versus 2 tonight by standing in the fire and the flames. Gonna find that one frag up top. No, taps away for it, misses it. Swings out, finds the spray. Oh, this could be oh so very close. Here goes Sun Pius, but won't go with the deagle. Absolutely demolishes it. Love that for RBG. They finally get around back on the board. It is hard fought, it's frivolous, and it's not even a gun round. They make it work with the little pistols, my boy.
Yeah, as somebody once said, a big round with the little guns. You know, loving life. But yeah, that actually does not too much for the RBG economy. It's just an extra round, basically, than they might have hoped for elsewhere. Because with only Walco surviving, yeah, he has like $4,400 now. But the rest of the team, they still have to expend all the cash they were saving up anyway, because they died in the round. So yeah, you get the win bonus through, but yeah, you still have to fully invest into this round. So it's only really Welko who was able to save the AK-47 there that's been able to sort of benefit in terms of the economy from that round. But obviously, they're not really worried about that at this point. They're happy to get a second round on the board. It's a round that they maybe didn't expect to pick up either. So happy days for them. It's a good start in trying to work down the Movistar Riders economy. As you can see, obviously everybody is basically around $7,000 to $9,000. So there's not massive amounts of worry for the Movistar Riders just yet, but a couple more rounds going the RBG's way might just start to trigger some alarms for the Movistar Riders. As they're not actually wielding the AWP too much right now, Movistar. They're happy just to run with the AKs for the time being. Some Pius especially is happy to run with the AKs. He's on 10 kills, 2 deaths. And those 2 deaths have been in their 2 rounds they've lost. Would you believe that?
I would, Dan. Sun Pius has been having a good old game so far, and nearly managed to make that 10, 11, and 1, by the way. Just a couple of HP off of taking that last round away from the RBG side. In fact, they're not going to have any more of this, Dan. They've had enough. RBG have activated. It's now time to find themselves some rounds, and they're going to do so by force. Outswings Chop, and he absolutely demolishes Alex. Just swings him, clotheslines him, and RKOs him straight out the vent. Sun Pius now 1 versus 3 with 22 HP. 2 players are relatively low on HP, but I don't think that really changes things for him. But he has taken out the higher HP player. I don't know whether that gives Sun Pius any kind of incentive to want to go for this. He has 35 seconds to work with. So whatever his plan is, he needs to move quickly. Try and get around towards heaven, I guess his plan is listening to try and see if he can hear anybody up there. But little does he know, both players are inside the site. 20 seconds now. He's burned 15 seconds off the clock already just making this rotation, so needs to act quickly. Are they going to anticipate it? Absolutely not, but Hex catches the timing, head on a swivel, and finds the frag. RBG wipe the sweat from their brow as they live to fight another round.
That was a quick turn from Hex. Just about gets it done. 18 HP. They live to fight another day. RBG. That round was looking really good early on as well. That was looking like a really strong round to begin with, but that gets a little out of control. Very dangerous. And for the Movistar Riders, they'll be happy that they're keeping this RBG economy low, because it means that if they do eventually break through this this defense once again, and they're not really able to save much, they're going to be completely broken in the next round. Like, the loss bonus is starting to decrease. It'll be 2,400 at this point. So you're going to be with almost no cash. And already Welco, though, doesn't want that to happen. A beautiful double from him. Alex and Davy G out towards the yard, just silenced by Welco himself. And now 3-on-5 ensues. But they've managed to get one player down the vents. I believe that was Mopoz. So Pius is getting taken down towards the ramp, though. And Wiz, with the AWP, gets his second kill of the game. He's really struggled with that AWP on the last two maps. Oh, was that well timed or what? Was able to time the glass breaking with his teammate Spam, and he's able to find two off the back of it. They don't expect Hex inside the smoke, though. He's just been sat on top of the bomb like a goose laying an egg, and now he finds Defs, protecting his nest, and now Mopoz trying to find all he can. 3 kills, though. It's an admirable effort. Not enough to find a 9th, though, for the Movistar Riders, and for RBG, they'll be happy they're getting a little bit of success here. I think if you can limit this to maybe 8 or 9 for the Movistar Riders, you have a chance in the second half. Not a massive chance, but there's a chance there.
I mean,
the problem is you're switching over towards the T side.
I mean, come on, right? You can get 8 to 7.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
I'm huffing the copium, big time.
Yeah,
but,
you're a big time huffer.
It's gonna happen. I'm telling you now. Wiz finding the first frag of the round only further exemplifies my theory. He finds himself that opening up the map a little bit now as well for RBG to breathe a little bit more. They're not feeling so constricted, so tight around the chest. They got more space to work with, and Walco will absolutely make use of that, finding another frag to exacerbate the situation in favor of the North American side. The Spaniards now scrambling to try and figure out how they can best attack this round. 2 players inside, 1 player outside. Davy G needs to try and find his way around some way. Of course, remember, you got Wiz, who was down in secret, so he's always going to be a bit of a factor in this round. You have Walco, who's outside somewhere. Obviously, Movistar Riders now don't know where quite he's gotten off to. Nice entry for Sun Pius, but a second was a little bit too far out of reach. Mopoz trades it away, but also at the expense of a big chunk of his HP, and Wiz finds him through the vent as well. The sleeper, the man who was not really in the round until the latter portions of it, ends up finding that frag, obviously opens it, and now might have an opportunity to close it. Davy, 1 versus 2. We already saw Sun Pius nearly pull it off in this map already, but that was a very different situation in which he already had the bomb planted. Davy G has to try and find a way to get out of the site here and onto this bomb plant. Little does he know that Jitter is up behind him, and Jitter is ready to take him down. So 5 to 8 now. RBG finding themselves 4 in a row.
And this is still not quite push Movistar Riders onto the eco. You have Alex and Defs. Yeah, it's starting to get a little bit low. I think with this round coming through, I think this will probably be the end of their economy. Although, this will also be max loss bonus being reached. So it'll be the 3,400 coming through. So for the RBG side, they've finally broken the economy, or at the point where they will break the economy. But Movistar Riders will be able to keep the pressure on, especially if they can keep the bomb plants coming through. So that's unfortunate. It shows how much cash the Movistar Riders side actually had to work with. Go for the full investment. Still just rolling with the AKs. 5 AKs on the board, and Movistar Riders want to try and take a little bit of early outside control. Wiz is going to jump up on top of Credit, see what he can find anything, and he certainly is going to find something. Alex, the first kill to be taken by Wiz, and it's a nice one as well, because it gives that RBG side that man advantage, a clean man advantage as well, because Wiz takes no return fire whatsoever. He's able just to quickly drop off. Welco has already gotten himself into his position down by secret stairs, hoping to catch players, but Defs just instantly removes him. Well, I'll say instantly, takes a lot of damage, but he does remove him. 22 HP for Defs. Jitter hoping that maybe with his position towards a ramp, he could find something, but the mollies are good to prevent him from peeking, and they'll get the bomb planted. As they're in search of a 9th and a 4-on-4. This is possibly the best chance I've had for a little while now, the Movistar Riders. Wiz is going to start creeping in, though, through the secret stairs. He's followed them down. And he might be able to find the timing on a player. Nobody's actually looking in that direction for the time being. Mopos is looked towards the A site, and that's why he's able to catch the first kill. Chop taken care of.
No.
On the ladder? How does he do that on the ladder? That's a little outrageous. That should not be allowed. And now RBG just playing with that hole once again. Loves toying with it. And now it's all looked towards Hex. Now 1 versus 2. Molly on the bomb.
Can't catch a break.
No way he can even do anything. 9 on the board for the Movistar Riders, and finally they break the duct of the RBG side. And for RBG, look at the economy, George.
Man.
That's hard to look at.
It is.
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna cover the left side of my screen, George.
Oh, you can't bear to look at it, can you? I understand, Dan. I understand. It is a bit of a sorry sight, I'm afraid, over on that CT side. Their economy has been left in tatters. Despite winning a good handful of rounds in a row, unfortunately, it hasn't been enough to elicit them a goodbye for the 15th round of the half. Dan, money is not a permanence. I'm afraid Counter-Strike is. It will continue on. And Alex will continue to find frags in this game by the looks of things. Walco taken down. Alex also looking to pursue further endeavours, further business opportunities out towards the back of heaven. He's about to be flanking around again, as he has done so frequently this game so far. Chop currently just keeping it chill inside of Secret, waiting for players to push on down. I think these players might be waiting for Alex's cue, though. He might be able to find something big here, and that might grant them ingress in towards this A site, and that might just be what they are looking for. He's breeding again, but this time it works out. It was a little bit hap-handed on the spray, but it's okay. It all works out in the end. And now, with 2 players remaining, Chop and Jitter, in a 5 versus 2, it's looking increasingly likely this is about to be a 10-5 half for the Movistar Riders, on the T side, no less. And they have their best side still yet to come. Jitter, 1 versus 5, gets the first. Doesn't quite get the rifle to drop down to him. The HE grenade also meets him on his way up, gives him a quick kiss on the lips, and Sun Pius will finish the job. So 10-5 at the half. We'll see you after this break to see if Movistar Riders can finish it out, or RBG can huff that copium.
Welcome back. Second half, George. It's not looking all too rosy for the RBG side. They're down by 5. And now they switch over to generally the less favoured side on Nuke. It's going to be a tough task, but maybe a strong start here could invigorate some of these players as the Movistar Riders. Look at those odds. That is, I mean, if you want to put a dollar on RBG right now, now's your time.
Yeah, that's certainly something. If you believe.
Yeah, if you believe, then maybe it's worth it. However, early assessment of this pistol round is that maybe you shouldn't be believing just yet because the Movistar Riders picking off plenty of kills leaves it just up to Jitter and Wiz, and they are both relatively low on HP. Make it just Wiz. 1 versus 4, 40 HP. Has the bomb at least. So there's that. And a fortunate glass break there means he can pop through it. And skedaddle out of there. Maybe a bomb plant possible towards this A site, in fact. He's actually been able to find a really good position. Oh, no, he's got to trap all the way around, back through the vent. He wants to try and catch players out, get a kill early on before he plants the bomb, which I respect. Is the door open, though? No, it isn't. All right, backtrack. I'll go the other way, then.
All right, well, if that way isn't working, I'll just try another way. This sign can't stop me because I can't read. That's what I would say. Oh,
knife.
Go on.
There we go.
Yes! Beauty. That's some big money. And now you can rotate up towards that A site and get a kill. Never mind, no. Just Alex ready to absolutely whip your head off. So 5-11. Movistar Riders win the pistol. RBG, are they going to be incentivized to buy here? I feel like there's an opportunity for a force buy. But again, it won't be the same potency as what Movistar Riders were able to offer in their first half force buy. Because Movistar Riders got a bomb plant in the pistol, and that supplemented them enough income in order to be able to afford those Galils, to be able to afford those big weapons. So here for RBG, they're not going to elect to go for that. They feel like they can get the AKs on the 3rd round. And then they're just going to roll with that from that point forward. So they're going to concede 5-12 inevitably. Just, well, hope that it goes well from that point on. Because they're not giving themselves all that much wiggle room, are they, Dan?
No. That dink does actually reveal Mopos' position. This is awkward. Inside of this smoke, it's... neither player, I think, knows really where they are. Mopos finally emerges and is able to, with the MP9, to get an easy kill. It is just the pistols, the default Glocks being ransacked one by one. Davy G. Here's the steps. Gets the FAMAS out. And it's a 12 for Movistar. They're even shooting each other. I'd never do that to you, George. I'd never shoot you.
Oh, that's really kind, Dan.
Yeah?
I usually, like with most of my friends, I just kind of take that for granted. You know? Generally, you just don't shoot your friends.
Yeah?
Even in a virtual environment.
I've made a promise, so if it ever does happen.
Yeah, then I've really got you now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
otherwise, I could be like, well, I never said as part of this partnership I wouldn't shoot you. Oh
no. And then legally you've got me because, as we all know, if you say that you won't shoot somebody and you do, it's murder. If you don't, then it's not murder. Either way...
Well, it's murder towards the yard.
Yeah, I was going to say murder on the dance floor, but that's not accurate either. Murder on the work floor, as now Jitter has been taken down too. It is a clean sweep. The legs being taken from underneath RBG. Movistar Riders just straight leg kick them out of here. And only one player to fall at the moment. That's Mopos, as Walco desperately tries to keep the dream alive by keeping this AK alive into the next round. I'm intrigued as to whether Movistar Riders are going to elect to let him. Obviously, if they do, they risk losing some of their own finances. But of course, the AK is never a bad weapon to have. It's always a threat. That one-shot headshot potential, irrespective of whether you have armor or not, it's always potent. It's always something you've got to be aware of.
He's been able to get to the body, so there's that. Step 1 of the 8 steps to freedom by Viktor Reznov is secure the bomb, as everybody knows. Unfortunately, he fails at step 2, spearing the Alex Beast.
Right, okay. Well, thank you, Mr.
Yeah.
Reznov. I appreciate that. Movistar riders are more concerned at the moment about Maslow's pyramid of needs, as they're just stacking up every single one of their basic necessities and now going for those things that they don't necessarily need, but instead want, which is round wins and big victories. Big dubs, and that's something that Alex is trying to provide as he's your impact player around there for that one. Nice little statistic. Love seeing that kind of thing pop up. As now, Sun Pius, he waits. He waits outside. He waits over the top of this smoke to see if he can spot anybody. He's already distributing a fair whack of damage whilst taking a little tickling of his own. HE grenade is not quite adequate, but the gap in the smoke is more than adequate for Sun Pius to find a frag. That nade is also pretty damn good. Alex is going to catch players after they come out a grey screen from inside the smoke too. And this is all round a bit of a disaster for RBG. Movistar riders just have everything they want, and I'm afraid they're going to have even more when this round's finished, because it will be 14 for them. 2 players is all that stands in their way. Sun Pius with his back turned to Hext at the moment. Not sure whether he's going to turn around in time. Yes, he absolutely will, because Hext doesn't even realise himself.
And now this is do or die for the American side. They'll call another timeout. I think this is as good a time as any to use one, in my opinion, George. But yeah, you get the AKs through. Welco will probably get a 5th AK up as well. Not going for the AWPs by the look of things, unless Welco fancies himself a glass cannon up. I'm surprised actually that Wiz doesn't go for the AWP. Has spare cash, could have afforded it. No, interestingly, doesn't go for it, but I guess their game plan right now just doesn't revolve around the AWP. And we saw on the T side from the Movistar riders, they didn't really fancy using the AWP all too much.
I mean, I don't think it's a necessity. I think you maintain that mobility and that versatility when using the AK-47s on the T side.
Yeah.
I still think that it has its merits, it has its values. It just depends on what your approach is like fundamentally. And Hex's approach is just spam the smoke, and that's something you can't do with an AWP, I'm afraid, Dan. It's something that he grants him a kill this time around, though. He knows his angles, he knows his lines, and he's going to get a frag as a result of those lines. Been rehearsing them all night in the mirror. Just repeating them to himself. I will spam a smoke.
Yeah, I mean, I had one line in my primary school play.
Did you mess it up?
I messed it up. Yeah.
Just the responsibility was too much.
Yeah, because it's meant to like the killer punchline.
Oh no!
For a joke, but yeah, it failed badly.
And that's where it all began. All of Dan's terrible punchlines.
That's what made me the incompetent fool I am today. Death, though. There's a couple kills there. Davy up towards the rafters as well, finds himself one. And the Movistar Riders, despite losing the opening kill to Hext, themselves a 2-on-1 and make it a 2-on-none, because now that's 15-5. RBG, do you fancy 10 in a row? Probably not with the economy that they have.
Yes, they do.
You're still huffing.
I'm still huffing. They fancy it. Yeah. They really want it, Dan. They told me themselves. Sent me a DM, said, boys, really want this 10-0 run now. Bring it to OT and then absolutely destroy them. Little do you know, it's a little known fact, but there's only one player that Simple is scared of. Do you know who that is?
Is it Welco?
Text, mate. Simple told me in private, because, you know, he wouldn't disclose this information publicly. But I'm going to anyway. that he's absolutely terrified of Hext. Seen this guy on the North American circuit, and just seen the way he plays. Absolute criminal.
Did you see Simple have his voice dubbed over at the Esports Award, though? That was outrageous.
I did not see this.
They dubbed over his voice with like another Ukrainian.
Why,
which was just clearly not Simple's voice.
But why? Simple can speak English.
And it was out of sync slightly. Yeah, I know exactly. Like, I think I saw like the actual alleged original video, and it's like it's clear as day what he's saying. I don't know.
Subtitles will suffice.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, I don't mind whacking on some subtitles if someone's speaking in like a thick accent, but like, come on, you just dubbed over the man. This ain't no Squid Game.
This ain't no Squid Game. Dan, we don't watch Dobbs TV, we only watch Sub TV, and I'm afraid Davi is about to make this all over. Well, maybe not. He's distributed quite a fair amount of damage onto Hex and a bit more onto Chop and Jitter, though. But even still, it's going to be onto Mopoz in the back of the site. First player goes unsighted to him. Jitter blindsides him for the second. So that's not too bad. A 3-on-3 now as Walgo desperately trying to grab something back. He hears players starting to make the rotation over towards the B site. Sunpius is a little bit suspicious, but not so much that he's not going to commit to it just yet. Walco's like, hang on a minute, boys. I might have the whole site to myself here. Little does he know that there is a Sunpius lurking, and Sunpius finds the frag. That's the bomb, no less. So that means that Jitter and Hex are now finding themselves stuck between a rock and a very hard place. Sunpius is making this one as uncomfortable as possible as he stands directly on top of the bomb, trying desperately to find out where these pesky little T's are coming from. You know it's behind him, and he turns right on cue for the answer. Hex now 8 HP, trying to clutch against 2. 1 down, 1 up. He's got to try and get towards that bomb, though, because 10 seconds is all he's got. Going forward, trying to find the frag. It's not going to be there in time. He's going to go for the fake plant. In comes the knife, and that's a horrible way to finish, Alex. You have no respect for your opposition. RBG, unfortunately, aren't able to make the